In this super review, let's take a look at the H5 wireless headset from Mpow. Okay, I've been reviewing a lot of in-ear monitor headphones lately on this channel, but if you go back to the very beginning, this channel started with me looking for a decent pair of budget wireless headphones, kind of like these, right? These are the H5 from Mpow, and it is an over-ear headphone, at least as far as I can tell. It seems like it's actually an over-ear rather than just an on-ear headphone. And what's a little bit different about this versus some of the earlier headphones I listened to is, well, okay, it's in roughly the same price range. These cost around 50 bucks, but unlike the other headphones I was listening to in that like $50 to $100 range, the H5 has got active noise cancellation. And then in addition to the active noise cancellation, the H5 boasts, at least according to the box, about 18 hours of battery life, which is pretty good. I mean, there's some that have been, you know, in like the 7 to 8 hour range and some that are in like the 40-hour range. Well, this is a solid 18 hours, which I think is pretty decent, especially because you get active noise cancellation with this. That said, is it any good? Well, that's what we're gonna find out. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it up and we'll see what we get in the box before I give it a listening test, and I'll let you know, is the H5 from Mpow any good? All right, so we got the H5 wireless headset in a box here. And if we go around the box, there's not a ton of information, but there is some stuff that we can learn. Okay, let's see. Starting with the top, there's nothing to learn. Starting with the front, there's nothing to learn. The bottom, nothing to learn. Over here on this side, we got a little bit of information. We have the claim of 4x active noise canceling. I don't know what that means, 4x. I mean, that sounds better than 1x. It's got a foldable design, which is great. I think that's gonna make this a nice portable headphone, which is where you want noise cancellation. Hi-fi audio, that is quite the claim. We're gonna definitely put that to the test. And then it also claims to be soft and comfortable, which, I don't know, I don't doubt that. Over here on this side, it says the range is 33 feet, which is pretty normal for a Bluetooth headphone like this. 18 hours of music and talk, which that's pretty good. There are definitely some that are better, but there are definitely some that are worse. I think 18 hours for a $50 headphone, that's not bad at all. And then here it says that the overall charging time is about 2 hours, which is, you know, that's pretty average. And then here on the back, we've got basically the same information. So let's go ahead and just crack it open and see what we get inside. All right, so what do you get in the box of the Mpow H5? You get a pretty standard set of things here. Let's start with the paperwork, because everyone loves paperwork. You get instructions, you get a little user manual. That's nice. You also get a warning that if you connect this thing to the wrong charger, that it could cause heat and fire. Okay, be careful. Basically, it means that you should be connecting this to sort of a standard charger and not a quick charger. If you got a quick charger for your phone, it might be more than the Mpow H5 can handle, so I would just steer clear of that. To charge it, it does come with a USB cable, and this is a micro USB cable, which is pretty standard for headphones like this. It does not come with a charging brick, but again, also pretty standard for headphones like this. It does come with an optional 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, right? So on the bottom of this device is a headphone jack. If you want to connect this to a phone, or, well, never mind, phones don't have headphone jacks. If you need to connect it to something without Bluetooth, either the thing doesn't have Bluetooth or maybe your battery is dead, you can go ahead and use that. Before we get to the headset, let's talk about this little carrying pouch that it comes with. It's kind of nice feeling, frankly. It's almost like a microfiber outer, like a faux felt. I think that's pretty good, and it's got a little drawstring on it so you could cinch it closed, and yeah, I think that's a pretty good solution for carrying this thing around. And then you get to the device itself, which is pretty lightweight. You know, it's all plastic build. I can't really feel any metal on here. Even this right here seems to be plastic. But for a $50 headphone, you know, what are you expecting? Also, this, you know, there's some faux leather on the cups and around the headband. I gave it the smell test. It's definitely not real leather, but again, what do you expect for 50 bucks? But generally the build on this feels pretty solid. Like, this is a pretty solid feeling headset. The only thing that kind of stands out is a little bit cheapy feeling is that this foam is crinkling a little bit, at least initially. And once I gave it a bit of a squish, it stopped crinkling, but you can probably hear like the headband will still do it. So I'm hoping that that is just because it's brand new foam and it needs to be broken in a little bit, because it already seems like it's stopping that, which is good. All right, there's a couple of things aesthetically that are standing out that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I'm not gonna complain that much. One of them is the giant Mpow logos on the left and right ear cups. I don't need that, that's a big logo. And then the other thing about these ear cups is you see how glossy they are when nothing else on the headphone appears to be glossy. I think it would look better, just personal opinion, I think it would look better if the ear cups had the same matte finish as the headband itself. Physically, there are a few things that stand out about the Mpow H5, and it is one, these cups are pretty large. Like, I think this is gonna be an over-ear headphone, which for a lot of people, that's a big deal, right? Some people don't like having headphones that rest on their ears. I think that these cups are large enough that they'll fit around most people's ears. The other thing is that it's got, you know, some pretty nice folding mechanics to it, which just, I think it makes it a really good portable headset. You know, right here you can see that the cups fully swivel inward, right? So that this thing could lie flat if that's the way you want to store it. I think that's actually really good if you just have this thing hanging around your neck. It's nice to have the cups fold flat and against your chest. The other thing is that these cups fold inward like this, and it makes this a very, I think that's a very compact package for an over-ear headphone with active noise cancellation for 50 bucks. Like, all right, I'm definitely into this. All right, and then looking at the bottom of the cups, on the bottom of the right cup is where you have the optional headphone cable port, or just the regular 3.5 millimeter jack. I'm pretty sure that's 3.5. Let's see, 3.5 on that side. Let's check the other side just to make sure. Yep, it's 3.5 millimeter. So that's pretty standard. This is also where you have the active noise cancellation switch. If for any reason you need to disable noise cancellation, you'll probably get like better battery life if you turn it off, frankly. But if you need to turn it off, you can turn it off with that switch. On the left side is where you've got your micro USB charging port, as well as a few very basic function buttons. You've got an up and down, which I assume are gonna be volume up and down. And then you've got a center button with a Bluetooth logo, which I assume is also gonna be the power button. But yeah, that's about as much as I can tell you about the Mpow H5 without giving it a listen test. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull in the old Pixel phone, hook it up to Bluetooth, and give it a listening test against my reference library of music. I'm gonna put that claim of hi-fi audio to the test. That said, look, it's 50 bucks and it's got noise cancellation. I'm not expecting it to compete with the hi-fi in-ear monitors I've been reviewing, but I am interested to see how it does. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back here and I'll let you know what I think about the Mpow H5. All right, so I just got done testing the Mpow H5, and really I'm interested in looking at this in a number of different lights, right? One, first of all, yeah, how good does it sound? But really, like, how good is it at doing the other things that this is trying to do, right? This is a portable wireless headset with noise cancellation. That's a lot of things that it's trying to do. And I was really just trying to dig in to figure out how good of a headset is this for 50 bucks. And really, I'm pretty impressed with it. Let's start with the sort of physical attributes of the H5. And maybe I'll start with my one probably biggest complaint. And this is not that big of a complaint really, but I think that the headphone isn't the greatest looking headphone. And really, I think they could have made it a lot better looking if the outer side of these cups was not glossy, if it was matte black like the rest of it, and if the Mpow logo was maybe a smidge smaller. Yeah, I think they could have made it a better looking headphone. As it is, like, I mean, frankly, it is a pretty decent looking headphone. When it's on your head, it is basically all black. The logo is, you know, pretty low contrast so it doesn't stand out. So yeah, overall, like it's a good physical form. I think it looks pretty good. It could look a little bit better without much change, but that's me nitpicking. All right, now in terms of comfort, I think this thing's doing a pretty good job. One of the questions that I had was whether or not these cups would be large enough to actually fit over my ears, or if it would just be kind of like an awkward on-ear, over-ear sort of hybrid. And after plenty of listening to it and wearing it at my head, actually having my wife wear it on her head, we both found that, yeah, it's totally an over-ear headphone, like no questions asked. It fits over both of our ears and it's perfectly comfortable. I know for a lot of people, having an on-ear headphone is uncomfortable. And so I think this is a good solution. Me personally, like I don't really have a strong preference of on-ear versus over-ear. You know, the one downside to having an over-ear design like this is that it can get a little bit hotter, a little bit warmer over long listening sessions. And then the last thing to talk about, sort of the physical aspects of the H5, is this really nice folding mechanism, which, look, it's really simple. It makes this thing really surprisingly compact. And it doesn't become an issue when this thing's unfolded, right? A lot of the headphones, when they're unfolded, if they have a folding mechanism, it can just be kind of floppy and make the headphone feel a little cheap. That's not the case here with the H5. I think the H5 feels nice and solid, whether it's folded or unfolded. In terms of like the electronics functions of this thing, so setup was super simple and straightforward. I mean, most Bluetooth headphones are, in my opinion at least. So there are voice prompts that guide you through pairing. It tells you when it's powered on and powering off. So that's all pretty straightforward. The Bluetooth range on it is pretty good. So I was able to test it walking across my house, even like leaving my phone in one room and going into another room. And it was really only when there was like pretty significant distance and a wall in between me and these that it started to break up. And then even then, frankly, it was listenable. So yeah, I definitely give the Bluetooth range on this a passing grade. My only non-passing grade is gonna be for the fact that these things beep when you change volume, and that's just like a pet peeve of mine. I hate it when Bluetooth headphones, look, if I'm changing the volume, I don't need a little beep every time I've changed the volume to confirm it. I know what's going on, but unfortunately these things do beep when I change the volume, whether I use the buttons that are on the headphone or my phone, right? If I'm using the buttons on my phone, it's still gonna beep. That's kind of a bummer, but it's not really a big deal. Now, in terms of sound quality, these things are actually quite a bit better than I thought they would be. Now, they do claim to be like high fidelity sound on the box, and frankly, I didn't expect them to be hi-fi sound. And frankly, look, these are not like audiophile headphones. That said, I think audiophiles will be totally satisfied with this. Like, it's a good, clean sound. It's got, you know, a little bit elevated bass, a little bit elevated treble. The mids are maybe slightly recessed, but that's perfectly normal for a headphone like this. And really, I was surprised with the clarity in this. Like, it sounds pretty good. And interestingly, it actually sounds better when noise canceling is turned on. There have been some other Bluetooth headphones that I've tried with noise canceling that when you turn the noise canceling on, it changed the sound, and not necessarily for the better. This one, the Mpow H5, I think definitely, like, it's no question, it sounds better when the noise canceling is turned on. In fact, when it's turned off, it kind of sounds a little hollow. It doesn't sound great when the noise canceling is turned off, frankly. So if you are looking for a Bluetooth headphone and you don't want the noise canceling for whatever reason, like if you want to try and save battery life or something like that, frankly, like there are other options out there I would recommend. But if you're okay with the noise canceling, you don't mind the hit that it gives you on the battery, I think that these things, they sound really good. And then when it comes to the quality of that noise canceling, these things are doing a pretty decent job. Look, these are not gonna like magically isolate you from the outside world. Mostly what the noise canceling does on these is it blocks out the low frequencies, and it's really good at like repeating low frequencies, right? Things that are looping or on a rhythm, right? So some examples, if like say you have a fan on in your office, or you know in the kitchen there's a fan that's running, it is running at a low frequency. It's making this like low hum. These things are really good at blocking out that low hum. Some other things that they're good at blocking out are like the sounds of a dryer or a refrigerator or air conditioning, stuff like that. They're pretty good. When it comes to higher frequencies, they don't do so much blocking that out, but I think that's pretty normal for, you know, noise cancellation in this range. I think As far as what you're getting for 50 bucks, these things are doing a pretty good job. Also worth noting, if you're interested, you can use the noise canceling on these without actually turning on the Bluetooth. So if you're just like sitting on a plane and you don't want to listen to music, you don't want to listen to anything, you can just put these on your head, flip the noise canceling switch, and you get noise canceling. And you don't have to listen to music. You haven't turned on the Bluetooth, so you're not draining the battery anymore. It's kind of a nice feature. All right, all that said, if I were to rate the Mpow H5, I'd have to give it 5 stars out of 5. I think, you know, for 50 bucks, this is a pretty impressive little package you get. You get a nice, comfortable headset, looks reasonably good. It sounds reasonably good. Look, again, it's not audiophile grade, but it's pretty good. I don't think audiophiles are gonna complain about this. And then you get that added noise cancellation on top of, you know, a pretty decent battery life of 18 hours. Yeah, I give it 5 stars. If you're interested in checking out the H5 from Mpow, I do have links to Amazon in the description below. While you're down there, you can hit the like button for the video. If you like the video, you can subscribe to the channel, and then I'll see you in the next super review.